That movie is a shit show. What you think you see, what you think you hear, that's what it's about. It's all theater of the mind. No, it's garbage. It's garbage. Mood and atmosphere. Now that I really like. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to see.
One more time. It's Saturday, March the 5th, 2022, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. One more time. Oh yeah. How's everybody doing out there? This is Wolfman Jack coming to you live. Hey! All right, everybody. My name is Wolfman Jack. Wolfman Jack. I love Wolfman Jack. I love Wolfman Jack. The kids are like, what the hell? Who the hell is Wolfman Jack? Google. Oh, okay. What's going on, everybody? I thought I would just simply log on and hang out with you guys, shoot the shit, talk to you guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to send them in. I just want to give I had these in here. Shout out to Andrew Stevens. I think it was Andrew Stevens. Watch, it wasn't. Who sent me these like several months ago now. So this is not new. But you know, the collection of Halloween films on 4K. Of course, we got Halloween. Yes, Halloween. Halloween 2. More of the night he fell over the kitchen sink. Halloween 3. Season of the Mermaid. That's a good one. It's kind of like Season of the Witch, but it's a bit different. Halloween 4, The Return of Bill Cosby. It's not bad. And Halloween 5, The Revenge of Bill Cosby. That's a whole other thing right there. But pretty cool. Andrew Stevens, again, thank you so much for sending those. I had them in here because I was doing some sorting. And I have to put these back out into my case where I keep all my 4K and Blu-rays. You know, looking at these covers, I'm trying to think what my favorite cover would be. You know, purely from an artistic standpoint, I'm probably going to say Season of the Witch, I think is probably the best cover. The others are nothing really to write home. I mean, I'm not saying I could draw like that. I'm not saying like, I'm just saying, you know, they're okay. They get the job done, you know. But the Season of the Witch cover is probably the best one. It's pretty darn cool. So it's cool to have these for sure. I have not watched any of these yet in 4K. Although I know there are some people out there that would immediately jump on and buy these things and be like popping in and watching everything and listening to everything. And, you know, sometimes that's the way it is, you know, sometimes it goes like that and it's. All right, everybody. Yeah. Oh, it's Saturday. Can Can you feel it? Yes, can you feel it? No, I'm not high. High on life. High on life. What's going on, everybody? You damn fuckers out there. What's happening? What's doing? What's shaking in La La Land? We'll see if we get more people tuning in.
McRae is live again.
Get your feet, get right in the feels, right in the feels. I'm telling you, right in the feels. Got to get excited. It's Saturday. Mike Johnson there says, Dave, I know you are always getting questions about Halloween. I am. And it doesn't stop here. I get a lot of them through through DMs as well. But I am honestly curious if you think Halloween Ends will perform better critically than Kills. What are your instincts? I don't know. I really don't know. I think there's a better probability because it's supposed to be a smaller film in scale, and maybe that means it's more character driven. So there's going to be more drama, and you know, well, I have no idea. I really don't know. I don't know what sort of predictions to make with it, to be honest with you. You know, I really don't know. I'll be honest with you, okay? And as I always am, I am really looking forward to this series being done. And I know that sounds like such a curmudgeon, you know, like a contrarian thing to say. And I hope people always understand that I don't wish or say things like I couldn't care less if they made another Halloween movie, or I want Michael to die, or I hope this is the end, because I don't like the movies. I mean, you guys know that, right? I mean, you can, you know, fill in the blank and get what I'm trying to say. It's because I do care about these things, and I don't want this series to go on, you know, but that's me, you know. I mean, there are people, and I recognize that, and I've come to learn that there are people that have different standards than me or you, and they don't care. They just want more Michael Myers movies, and that's fine. And at the end of the day, the box office is what will dictate really if they continue with Michael Myers. Now, although I do believe that this is going to have a definitive ending, I think this is going to be sort of a definitive ending to this story. That doesn't mean that they can't reboot the franchise again, the Michael Myers story. But, you know, I've thought about that, and if they reboot the Myers story, I certainly hope it's not the next year or 3 or 4 years. I mean, are you just going to reboot the story the same? Like, I don't know. I don't need to see 50 different versions of the same thing, you know? And that's why I'm just like, just let it go, you know? But again, it's the box office that speaks. That's why, like, you know, I say to people all the time, if you want a movie to succeed and you want them to make more, then go watch the movie in the theater. Buy it on the theater is the most important place, really. But anyway, the point I'm making is I don't know. Right now, I have a feeling that I think it'll be better than Kills, but don't take my word for it, because I also had a feeling that I was going to like Kills better than 18. And although I did enjoy the experience of watching Kills better than 18, I didn't enjoy the movie better than 18. There were some things they did that were better, but overall, 18 is a better movie. And you guys know how I feel about 18. I don't think it's a very good Halloween film at all, really. It's not terrible. But I think 18 is a better movie. So if they go back to 18's kind of movie, see, you have to keep in mind, it's all relative, right? So you have 18, which did well. Then you had Kills, which, you know. So if they can just do as well as 18 again, then it might give the illusion that it's really good. But really, it's just a lot better than Kills, which is not a high bar. Do you know what I mean? So they don't have to be, it doesn't have to be amazing. It just has to be better than Kills. And Kills, for the most part, is one of the most divisive Halloween films I've ever seen. So, you know, maybe going back to the roots, keeping it a little more simple, you know, smaller kind of picture, maybe they'll succeed, and maybe they'll deliver another Halloween 18. And if they deliver another Halloween 18, then I think that's good. I think that's fine. I think they were able to get out and, you know, without any epic disaster. And who knows, maybe it'll make you appreciate Kills more. I don't know. Kills did make me, Kills made me appreciate 18 a little more, but not in the ways that you're supposed to make people appreciate it. You know, normally when a second chapter comes out and it helps you to appreciate the first installment more, it's because it's adding context where things were left open. You know what I mean? It's answering questions where there weren't any. You know, it's not because the movie is worse than the film that came before. That's usually not how you want it to go. You never hope to appreciate the film prior because the film you're watching is worse. You know, you want to help the second film. Each film in a series is supposed to help you appreciate the one before because it's a better movie that gives more context and you know, all that kind of stuff, right? That Kills didn't do that. So we'll see. I don't know, man, but those are my thoughts. All right. 2 super chats came in. Booster seat, $2. Box office will decrease with each new Halloween. Well, and that's not just, you know, associated with Halloween. That is generally how the box office works when it comes to sequel films. As I've said many times on my channel, it's not unprecedented for a sequel to make as much or more than a first installment. That, of course, has happened. But traditionally, when you look at the history of box office when it comes to slasher films especially, you know, generally speaking, the sequels make less and less and less. Again, doesn't mean that you can't make less and then there's one that comes in and makes the most or whatever. There's examples of that in the Friday and the Elm Street series. But generally speaking, when you look at the patterns of films and their box office, each film will make less. It's also important to remember too, and I can't state this enough, Halloween 18 overperformed. It overperformed. So it's not fair, really, at the end of the day, to expect these Halloween slashers to make $250 million the worldwide box office. That's ridiculous. The highest grossing slasher in motion picture history. It didn't make that much because it was a phenomenal film and it was getting tons of repeats. It made that much because there was a lot of things firing on all cylinders for it, right? You know, a lot of nostalgia, a lot of word of mouth in terms of that nostalgia. And of course it was, you know, the first Halloween movie to be released in October since Halloween 5. So, you know, we're like almost 30 years. So yes, I agree with you, but that's a point that you could make for most films. Halloween Ends is likely not to make, it's not going to make $250 million at the box office either. I don't think Kills would have made that much even if there wasn't a pandemic and it wasn't released on Peacock. I don't think it had the legs. I don't think it would have made another $100 million because it made about 150, I think, worldwide. I don't think it would have made another $100 million had there been no pandemic. You know, you never say never, but I don't think so, especially with the reviews. But yeah, you are correct in your assumption there. Fast Forwards 289 says it sends in 1999. Thanks, buddy. Says, what's up, Dave? Listening to you while at work. Always a pleasure to hear your stories and crazy antics. Oh, and I got my It's Me, Billy Blu-ray. Yes! I put it right next to my Blu-ray of Black Christmas 1974 Special Edition. That's what I love to hear, man. I love to hear it. Yeah, it's great to see people sharing that they get them on social media and all that kind of stuff. That's awesome. It's so great that you got it. There is still more to come. So as I've said, if you haven't received yours yet, do not fret. It just means we probably haven't sent it yet. We've sent out well over 200. There's probably about another 100 and change to go. So you will get it. So that's good. I'm glad you got it. That's awesome, man. And thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Brandon Jackson sends in $5, says, my ex who had a short attention span, she would watch you and get impatient and yell, today, McRae, today. Well, that's why you're exes, right? No, I'm just kidding. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not for everybody. I'm definitely my father, you know. See, the thing is that I know I can be verbose, right? And I know I can take long to get to a point because I'm a storyteller for all intents and purposes, right? I'm theatrical, I'm animated. And whenever you're theatrical or animated or you like to entertain, you know, like, for example, if I was a news channel, like a movie news channel, well, that's different, right? You got to get to the point because you got certain topics you got to cover. You got a time limit. You got guests maybe, right? If I was a movie reviewer, you know, some people lump me in with the movie reviewers because I get it. I understand why they do, but I'm not really a movie reviewer. I mean, I don't do movie reviews on the channel, right? But if I was a movie reviewer, totally get it, right? You got boom, 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 boom. You can't be taking an hour and a half to, you know, tell a story to get to the point. But somebody a long time ago, I forget who it was, but somebody a long time ago, like 3 or 4 years ago now, gave a great analogy. And it's true. It says, Dave McRae is like talk radio. So you tune in for the info, sure, for the info or news or the topic of whatever the hell I'm talking about. But you tune in also for the banter, the talk, the kibitzing, the back and forth, the stories, the antics. That's what it is, right? You know, it's talk radio. So, yeah, but my dad was the same way. My dad, if you were patient enough, if my dad was telling you a story, maybe about, I don't know, meeting the Beatles or, I don't know, some crazy funny thing that happened to him in one of his journeys in, I don't know, going somewhere to cover something or whatever, right? Yeah, he'd take like fucking 10 minutes to tell you a story. But if you kept with him, he'd get to the point, he's telling you a story. And you also have to keep in mind too, I'm a movie guy, so I'm very cinematic. So, you know, I can't just be like, yeah, I'm always like cinematic when I get into like explaining something or answering something. It's just who I am. It's just who I am. But I recognize that though. Like I totally understand that. I completely get it. And am totally aware that I'm not for everybody. And sometimes people just want news. They want to get to the point, whatever. They have a short, you know, attention span and they just want this. And that's why I say, well, if you want quick and easy, you got to go somewhere else because that ain't me. You know, I mean, I'm not going to change to fit what you want. You tune in because you like me and you tune out if you don't. It's the way it is. But yeah, that's funny though. That is funny. Today, McRae, today, God, get to the point. That's funny. Brandon Barry sends in 499, says, Dave, do you think there is Halloween fatigue? Depends on who you ask. I definitely have felt it, but I think I felt it in the ways that I think what it is, you know, as I've often said, I get a lot of DMs and I can't respond to everybody because there's a lot of them. I do my best to read them all. So I always say I really appreciate it very much. And yeah, sometimes I think what is the fatigue is there's very little that I haven't talked about or given my thoughts on. I mean, there's still things I could find, of course, but I always like to talk about things that I find interesting or from certain angles and stuff. And sometimes people just like to ask me the same questions. Now, to be fair, I always answer a question that I've answered 50 million times, like the first time, because maybe they're tuning in for the first time. Maybe they forget. Maybe they asked me once, but they forget, whatever, right? I'm never going to go, God, I said that. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I think so. I think it's just your level of fandom, right? Like, you know, as I always said, when I popped on here, I didn't like, you kind of do, but you don't really realize until you're invested into it. I didn't realize the degrees of fandom. until I started this YouTube channel, like started doing this. And the level of, and I say this with all due respect, I don't mean to say this as like a slight, but I didn't realize the level of nerd that some people go, right? Because I'm a certain, like, there are levels, right? There are fans. I'm no more less a fan than you of Halloween. I'm just a different fan than you. Or maybe you are the same kind of fan as me, right? But then there are different fans. There are fans that love all the movies equally and can watch them 50 million times. I mean, guys, I can't tell you the last time that I sat down. I mean, I don't watch Halloween movies throughout the year. I don't watch Halloween movies every Halloween necessarily, right? But some people do. You know, there are some people that are invested emotionally. They're on the Facebook forums and the groups, and they're all into it, and they're all in. Like, they're all in, right? They're buying this and doing this and getting this and getting this and buying this and doing this and getting, you know, and cosplay and going this and this. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think where maybe some of the fatigue might come in for me is I think sometimes people might mistaken me for that level of fandom, and they'll get really excited to get my insight on something or share something with me or send me something or whatever it is. And they don't realize that I'm not the same kind of fan. I can't appreciate, say, you know, I don't know. I'm trying to think of examples. There's just different levels. There's just different levels, right? Of passionate fandom. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. But I would say that maybe some of the inundation of that has left me feeling a little fatigued. Maybe like, wow. Like I had no idea how intense this was. You know what I'm saying? You know, so it's been really eye-opening. It's been really eye-opening for me. That's why I can confidently say, like, I couldn't care less if they made another Michael Myers movie ever again in the history of movies. Like, I could not care less. And to some people, that sounds like I'm throwing shade at the franchise, or I'm being mean, or I don't like Halloween, right? And I mean, I guess I could say it more nicely, I guess, but I don't mean that. I just mean that it's kind of done for me, like been there, done that. I think they've done it. They've done it well. I feel complete. I got the movies. I've got sequels. I've got good sequels, bad sequels. It's easier now than ever to buy a really authentic looking Michael Myers mask and props and toys and I'm like I'm good. Like, I don't need to see a new iteration of Michael Myers every year or every 5 years or 3 years or 4 years. I just don't. I don't need that, but that's me, right? There are fans that are like, no, more. And that's a level I'm just not at. And sometimes those fans like reach out to me or try to talk to me and want my, you know, and I'm always polite and always professional. But I feel bad sometimes because I can't connect on that level, like that level of like, whoa, like I just can't. You know, there's different levels, right? There's just different levels. But it's like that with anything, right? It's like that in sports too, you know? You have your hardcore sports fans that are there every game buying season tickets. They don't miss a game and they're there and they got the face paint and the this and that. And like, whoa, and they know everything. And they're there and they're playing the, you know, pro lines and the this and the that. And this. And then there's people like me who, yeah, the Buffalo Sabres are my favorite hockey team. Absolutely, 100%. I've liked them since Tom Barrasso was their goalie. So that's going back like, you know, 6 years ago. They've always been my favorite team, never won the cup. I will always, you know, but I'm not like that. You know what I mean? There's different levels, right? And nothing is wrong or right, or it's just different levels of passion. And there's different reasons for that passion. And they're not better fans or more loyal than I am, and I'm not better a fan or more loyal than they are. It's just different. Our fandoms are different, right? We appreciate and get excited about different things. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. But so I think so, you know, again, see, there I go round, but I always bring it home. But yeah, I do think there is some Halloween fatigue out there. And then you could look at it from a general sense too and say that, you know, I mean, what more can they do with this Michael Myers character? That kind of goes back to what I was talking about a few moments ago where it's like, what are they going to do? Reboot it again? Tell the same story again? Just a different person playing Laurie? And I know a lot of fans go, no. They could go back and just make a sequel to Halloween 4. I don't think it sounds fun and it's exciting and it makes sense from a story perspective, but they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that, at least not theatrically. It's too confusing to the general audience. It's too confusing. So I personally think they're going to do Season of the Witch. That is what my gut is telling me. I think there's going to be a heavy lean towards Season of the Witch. Now, whether that's a reboot, a remake, a series, I don't know, but I think they're going to lean into that once Halloween Ends is done. Not like the next month or the next year necessarily, but I think that's their next thing. That's what I think. Unless, of course, Halloween Ends makes like $400 million at the box office, and then they'll probably continue with Michael Myers. Okay, did I get that? Oh, wait. I got that. That super chat comes in from Riker H. Sends in $5. Just saw The Batman. The Riddler was obviously Zodiac Killer homage. He looks like Zodiac and does stuff like him. You got to see it. Well, let's not forget that the Zodiac Killer was never caught. You mean that he kind of resembles the actor that they heavily allude to being sort of the Zodiac? I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Yes, I have not seen The Batman yet. I'm hoping to go see it in the next couple of weeks. Maybe not this weekend, maybe the next weekend. But I'm hearing really, really good things about it. The one thing that I find interesting, though, and again, this is, different levels of fandom, right? I have a feeling that I'm really going to like it because for two reasons. Number one is, as a lot of you know, I'm not a big superhero fan. There you go again. I'm not a superhero fan. I mean, I'm not invested. I'm not like a sweaty DC Marvel nerd. Like, again, I've only seen like 4 MCU films. And it's not because I don't think I'm not going to like them. I know I've said that a million times, but I need to say that, right? It's not that I don't watch them because I think I'm not going to like them. It has nothing to do with that. I'm just not into them. Like how some people are not into Star Wars, or maybe you're not into the horror movies or, whatever it is. It's not my cup of tea, generally speaking. But I do like Superman, Spider-Man, and Batman. And so I will go see it. And I have a feeling I'm going to like it because I'm not emotionally invested to the degrees that a lot of fans are. I like the idea of a Zodiac 7 kind of detective psychological thriller with Batman. I think that's interesting. And I think but it's funny because I'm reading a lot of the fan reviews and a lot of the, not all of it, but some of the complaints are that it's dark and it's not exciting. I'm like, did you not know that? Like, I seriously think there are a lot of people, because again, if you're not connected in the right ways with your fandom, this could be completely oblivious to you. Whether you realize it or not, you have to understand that there are a lot of people going to watch The Batman right now who have no idea it's a noir, dark, emo, gothic kind of movie. No idea. They're expecting, like a Nolan film. I kid you not. Not like the hardcore in the know fans maybe, like you or, some, but there are people, I guarantee you, because I've read the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, and there's a lot of these verified reviews from people giving it 1 star, 2 stars, 2.5 stars, saying, oh, it was dull, it was boring, it was too this, it was too that, it wasn't exciting, there wasn't enough this. And I think, well, but like, now I know that it's a dark noir psychological thriller going in, right? You probably did too. But there's a lot of the general movie-going audience that don't. I mean, just read, go to, I don't know, not a horror page, but like a movie page, like go to like a, I don't know, like a movie web or something and just read the comments. Another Batman? Is this part of Nolan's universe? Okay, do we really need There's a lot of people that comment who aren't connected in that way. And they're going to see it, right? So, but I'm glad you liked it because I think you said you liked it, right? You got to see it. Well, I guess you didn't really say. I assume you liked it. I have a feeling I'm going to like it for sure because I loved Joker. And everything that I'm hearing about the Batman sounds great. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out. I want to see it for sure. But yeah, there are a lot of people out there that have no idea that it's this brooding sort of dark, depressing film noir. And I can imagine that if you actually, oh yeah, let's go see the new Batman movie. Let's go see it. You go watch it and it's, nothing I could understand walking and going, well, that was depressing. I totally could understand that. 100%. 100%. Oh, wait. Super chat. Riker H again says, I watched The Ring 2002 last night. Holy smokes. Great movie. Great movie. Yeah, one of my favorite horror films for sure. HT Story sends in $5, says, hey Dave, I have a question. When comes to selling scripts, is there a way to pitch a concept for franchise installment? Pitch to who? Look, if you mean like pitch to a studio or Netflix or Amazon, no. When it comes to the big boys, they do not accept unsolicited material. So generally speaking, what you have to do is unfortunately you have to be in a position where you have to know somebody who knows somebody or make the proper connections, reach out to certain people. But generally speaking, even producers and executives don't particularly like unsolicited material. And it's not because your idea may not be fucking amazing, but it's just because if they open that door and that window, the floodgates open up and now everybody and their dog is going to be submitting, for every script that gets made or gets produced, there's, 150, 200 that don't, so it's extremely competitive, very difficult. I assume that's what you're asking. Is there a way to, just kind of call up Netflix or pitch or whatever? There isn't. You would have to, the best thing you can do, especially if you're not connected in the industry at all, you don't work in the film industry or the entertainment industry, or you don't know people who know people. But maybe you have a great idea and maybe you have a great script. I mean, maybe you do. The best thing to do, I would say, at least off the top of my head, is look for contests. Look for screenwriting contests. Because they generally are judged by industry pros. And if it's really good, you can get it seen by some people and make some connections that way. That's actually not a bad idea. And they're all over the place. That would be my advice. If that's what, I assume that's what you're asking, but there is no way to, you don't go to the contact page on, Netflix and it says, submit your idea here. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. It's extremely competitive, extremely competitive. I mean, it's one of the most competitive businesses in the world. So if you don't have a referral or, know somebody who's already connected in that way, not going to look at you, not even going to bother. And that's why when you go to these sites or you go, you try to find a way to contact them for that reason, you can't, because they don't care and they don't need it. And they don't need it. I hate to say it, right? But they don't. They have a plethora of other ways and connections and people that get them the material. So, yeah, it's reality, but unfortunately that's the way it is. Michael Shane sends in $5, says, Dave, I love that your opinions are always fact-based and lean toward objectivity versus subjectivity. Well, I can't say they're always informed. Certainly, I have given my personal thoughts on something that I don't have a lot of information on. But I think what I always try to do, and again, I'm not perfect at it, but what I try to do is I try to always come at it from a place. I think that's I can be verbose anyway, and I can be long-winded. I know that about myself. It's never going to change, but I think one of the reasons why I take a while to answer is because I really am thinking about the question and thinking about what experience do I have or what knowledge do I have, even if it's like that small? Or do I know somebody who has that knowledge that they've told me about this? Or have I read something, or did I learn something? And I'm really trying to make that connection in my head. Of course, it's trying to happen all in like 5 seconds, to really kind of give you an informed opinion. So I always try to do my best with that, but certainly I've been wrong before. I've been right before too. But I never try to get too caught up in the emotional aspect of it. Because then it's just an emotional opinion. It's just kind of how I feel about it as a fan, I guess. But there's nothing wrong with that either. I've given opinions like that before, but I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're saying, and I totally get what you're saying. So thank you for saying that. I always try, at the very least. Okay, did I miss any super chats? I don't think so, but I don't know. Where are we? There we are. There we are. Saturday night, ladies and gentlemen. Saturday night. Hey guys, what cover is your favorite on this? Do you like Halloween 1? Do you like Halloween 2? Do you like Halloween 3, 4, or 5? What design, what artwork do you like the best? I'm just curious. Who has these, by the way? Who was able to pick them up? Again, I was very lucky that Andrew Stevens sent these to me, one of my viewers. So thank you again, Andrew. Appreciate that. He also sent me the package where I got the 2 little vinyls with it as well, which is really cool. Simon sends in €3 and says, "Hi, Dave. Which Carpenter movie would you remake?" I'd like to remake The Fog. It's totally up my alley. Yeah, because it the Thing would be cool too, but The Fog, I don't know. I love The Fog. I don't think it gets enough love. Most of the time people say, when they talk about their favorite Carpenter movies, Halloween, The Thing, Escape from New York, They Live, and all that is great. Those are great. Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah, can't go wrong. But I don't see The Fog on too many people's lists. Now, it's not like, Shakespeare. It's not Academy Award winning, but there's something. I love The Fog. I love the mood. The soundtrack I think is great. So yeah, I would love to, and I know they remade The Fog in 2005, but I'd love to remake The Fog. I think that would be a really cool movie to make. And I think with my, mood and atmosphere sensibilities, I think I do a pretty good job. People saying 3, 3, 3, 1, 2, 5, 3. Aaron Click says he's got them. 3, Halloween 1, 3, 3, and 5. Yeah, a lot of people like 3. Yeah, I can see that. I see that. Like I said, I have a feeling that Halloween 3 is what they're going to lean towards. It's the most logical. And I've said it before, it's primarily because it already has a built-in fan base. It already has a pop culture footprint, albeit not as large as Michael Myers, obviously, but the source material is already there. So really you just be adapting a screenplay. And yeah, it makes the most sense to me. Now, whether they do it theatrically or series, I don't know. But to do something completely new in the Halloween universe, like I often joke, Mr. Riddle or Charlie Bowles or, whatever. The Mr. Riddle is a joke, purely. But Charlie Bowles, though, there might be something there. But in all seriousness, nobody knows about that. There are Halloween fans. Believe it or not, there are Halloween fans. If you say Charlie Bowles, they'll be like, huh? What? It's true. But Season of the Witch from a purely business perspective, Season of the Witch is the most logical choice. And that's what I think they're going to. I don't know if they're absolutely going to do it, but I think they're going to entertain the idea. That's what I think. I think they're going to entertain the idea. Let me just put my feet up here. Settle in. Saturday night. Ba 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 ba. Saturday night. Saturday night. Da, 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 da. Andrew Caldwell says, I've been bringing your podcast during my night audits. I love hearing your passion when you express new theories. I really hope Karen gets justice. Well, thank you, Andrew. I appreciate you saying that. I think she will. I think she will. I think she will. Ooh, Darren Sands is in the chat room. It's very late in his neck of the woods. Now and again, not too often, when I watch The Fog, I actually think it's a better movie than Halloween. Dunstan Hellman. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, there could be some truth to what you're saying. I haven't watched The Fog in a little bit, probably since one of the Saturday movie nights I did, maybe. But I like The Fog. It's really good. That store, by the way, I think I've said this before, that store at the very beginning of the movie, because I think they were reshoots, if I'm not mistaken, but the convenience store where like the bottles start to shake and the fridges smash and the things come out, all that kind of stuff, that store, I've been in there. That's in, it's near Mulholland Drive, or it's close to it, I think. It's in like this little canyon area. Fuck, what's the name of it? Anyways, I've been in there and I didn't realize it until after I was in there. Like my girlfriend and I, we went, it was one of the last times we were in LA and we were out on, just sightseeing and stuff. And we drove to this spot because a lot of famous people had there used to be, I think like a bar in the basement or something. I'm really hazy on this. Janis Joplin had played there. I think even like Jim Morrison had been there. There's something, I forget what it's called. Maybe the chat room might know. But anyway, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not the same, but I'm almost positive it's the same place. Like I'm pretty sure it is. And, but when I was watching the movie again, like a year later, I was like, that's that fucking store. And when I looked it up, yes, that's the store where they shot that. So I was like, wow, I had no idea. I had lunch there. They had like a little patio thing. It's really cool. But you might be right. I mean, it's got a great soundtrack. It's a great premise, great setting, great location, I think that's a movie today that you could really do and really make it scary. I'd love to make a movie like that. Fuck, that'd be amazing. Fog is great. Got to give some love to The Fog. Not enough love to The Fog, ladies and gentlemen. Not enough love to The Fog. Wait, did a super chat come in that I missed? No. Okay, so the last one, I got them all, I'm assuming. The last one was... okay. All right, that's the last one. Just want to make sure that's the last one. Troy Stacha, is that how you say it? Stacha. Hey, Dave, I just wanted to say hi and thank you. I used to watch your live streams regularly, but then COVID hit and I got laid off. I'm very sorry to hear that, man. Hopefully things are okay. Things are better now. Okay, great. Love your informed and educated insights. Well, thank you. Thank you. I try to be as informed as I possibly can. I don't always hit the mark, but I don't think I do too bad. It's because I always try to draw on, like, that's the thing, right? That's why I always say that that's the difference between an informed opinion and opinion. An opinion is just based on how you feel, whereas an informed opinion, you're doing your best to draw on either experiences or knowledge, right? So, and then sometimes I might have like the basics of something. And then, so I lay that out, like, here's what's happening, here's what it is. And then I make educated guesses based on that. But but I don't know. I like doing that, you know. And again, it doesn't mean I'm going to be right all the time, but I think I would like to think that where I have been right is primarily because of that. You know, I don't think you can shoot from the hip and take a wild guess. I mean, you could, I guess, but there are a lot of people that do that and that just don't know what they're talking about. But I'm not perfect, but I try to at least bring that to it. So I appreciate that, man. Thanks very much. Super chat from HT Story follows up, sends in $5, says, is it true that script buyers buy your script but don't end up making it and they put that script on a shelf somewhere? Is it true that they do that? Well, it's true that can happen. Yes. It depends what's in the contract. You know, it all depends what's in your contract. I mean, generally speaking, what a studio will do, based on what I believe, I'm trying to draw on what I know. There's no guarantees that a film will ever be made. It depends on how hot your script is. It depends on how relevant it is, how hot the material is. Like, I mean, if you're, I don't know, let's say ghost movies are really popular and you have a ghost script, or slasher movies with, you know, I don't know, BB guns are really popular right now, and you write one that's really, really good. I think your probability goes up that maybe, but no, there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees. There's never guarantees unless it's like if you're in a position where you're just a writer and you're able to sell your script to Netflix. You know, they're not buying it from you with the idea that, yes, we're definitely going to make this 100%. It's just basically that they really like this. They think there's potential here. They want to buy it from you. Okay. And it's built into your contract that you will get credit and all that kind of stuff, and you'll get paid for the script, but now it's theirs, you know? So, you know, fine print is always important there. But it may take 5 years to get that made. It may never get made. It may go through a couple of rewrites too. You know, that's entirely possible. There's a lot of variables. It really depends. But no, it's not as black and white like that. Like, oh, we really like this. We'll buy it. We're definitely going to make it. Sometimes things do sit on the shelf for years. There are great ideas and great scripts right now that are just not being made for whatever reason. The studio doesn't believe in it. It's not, it was really current, but then it's not those kind of movies aren't making money right now. So they shelve it and hope that maybe it comes around again and then they'll make it, you know? Sometimes they're just in development hell in the sense of that creatively, it's just, there's not an agreement here on how to approach this or what to do with this. There's a lot of different reasons why scripts get made and some don't. When it comes to horror movies, especially, it's the ones that will generally get made is if it's just an incredible idea, like really, really good idea. You know, it's a solid idea and everybody really thinks so. Or if it's something that is just really popular and it's easy money for the studio. So they can spend $5 million to make the movie and they know they're going to make 40, you know. But yeah, I mean, to your question, yes, sometimes that does happen because there's no guarantees that when your script is bought that they're definitely going to make it, you know. So yeah. Tis the breaks. A couple super chats did come in. CM sends in $4.99, says, Dave, given the current social, political, and economic climate in the world today, do you think They Live could and would be a good remake reboot? I think, you know what? Yeah, I think so. It's definitely, I mean, it's always been relevant to some degree or another, but I think so. Yeah, I would say, I think you could probably mature the film as well. Like bring it out of the realm of a B movie in more of an A-list movie, like more of a dystopian sort of science fiction film. Maybe more in the realm of George Orwell's 1984. Like make it more mature, a mature piece rather than kind of a B campy kind of film. Because I mean, They Live, although the concepts are really true then and they were true now, and they've always really kind of been true. We have to remember that some people forget that George Orwell's 1984 wasn't written in 1984. It was written in the 40s, I believe. So, these kinds of dystopian government, political, social issues and don't trust the government and, it's always been there. It's always been there. It's just to what degree depends on the era that you're in. But I would like to see a remake of They Live, sure, but bring it out of the realm of B movie and into the realm of A movie, maybe even a series, like a Netflix series or something. That might be interesting. Yeah. Dystopian future. I mean, there's tons of shit like that. There's tons of stuff like that. But specifically They Live, I think that'd be cool. Riker H sends in $5. Says, would you ever go from horror scripts to directing epic CGI messes like Adam Wingard with Godzilla vs. King Kong or James Wan Aquaman? Would that be your goal? No. In film? No. Well, CGI messes. I'm a horror guy. I love horror movies. I always have been. I always have been. Well, yeah, I guess I always have been. I always have. And, but there are different genres that I really like, so I don't, it's funny. I've never really had any goal. Like I've had small goals, but I've never had gigantic goals. I guess what I mean by that is like when I got into voiceover, I never had, or let me go back. So when I was a teenager, I wanted to be an actor, an on-camera actor. That's what I wanted to do, right? And I did that for a little bit, was in a few commercials, things like that. And, the whole thing, I broke my teeth, fell into voiceover, all that kind of stuff. But when I got into voiceover, I never had like specific goals. I just wanted to continue to hone my craft, pursue it, make connections, build on, my portfolio, all that kind of stuff, and kind of see where the road takes me. Are there things I would like? Sure. But I guess I don't think about them too much. For me, when it comes to the filmmaking side, which, I'm a little late to the party, but in my 40s now, I'm just starting to get into that and hopefully build that part of my career up because I would love to. But I would say that, yeah, I don't have any, I just want to be passionate about the material. That's what it is. I want to, whether it's a script that I've written or somebody else has written, whatever I get involved in, whether I'm directing my own script, whether it's on my own or whether it's with Bruce or somebody really likes me and my work or whatever, and they want to hire me to, whatever it is, I just want to make sure that I'm always passionate about the material. Because I take it very seriously, and I don't ever want to feel like I'm forced into a position where I mean, and that doesn't mean that I have to be like really passionate about the material. Like, I mean, like I have to be obsessed with it. No. But I would like to think that I at least have an interest in it, right? I'm like, this is really cool. Yeah. Okay, sure. I would hope that would be, and whether that's horror, drama, comedy, sci-fi, big epic, whatever. That's kind of how I think about it. But my heart lies in horror films. I just love, when we shot It's Me, Billy, it was so cool. It was so great to be in that environment and to be able to craft the lighting and craft the shot. Well, I didn't craft the lighting, but talk about what we wanted to see and then have the team do it and all that kind of stuff. And it was so great being in a horror environment. and that is really where my love is and where my passion is. But nobody starts out directing Aquaman movies. Generally speaking, most filmmakers start out in horror because they are relatively speaking, the cheapest movies to make, and they can make a lot of money. And even if they don't make a lot of money, they still usually, not all the time, but will often maybe at least break even or something like that. So to get to the point where, you're directing Aquaman, you will have had to have had quite the successful career before that. James Wan directed Aquaman because he not just directed the first Saw movie and the first two Insidious films and the Conjuring movie, or the first two. I mean, he built 3 franchises: Insidious, The Conjuring, and Saw. He was he was a seasoned, established Hollywood director by the time he did Aquaman. So nobody was going to give him Aquaman in 2004. He was nobody. Like me when it comes to making movies, right? But that's okay, because I really like the idea of making horror movies for, that maybe have budgets of, $5 million or $10 million or something, or, whatever, right? That excites me, because I really, horror is where my passion is. So if I never made a big epic film like that, it probably wouldn't bother me, to be honest with you. Now, if I was ever offered something like that because I happen to have success or whatever, then I wouldn't necessarily turn it down. I'd probably be silly to not at least take a look. But that's not my goal. My goal is not to direct a Star Wars movie. If it happens, that's amazing. But my goal is just to, I've made one film, and it's a short, independent fan film, which, we put all our heart and soul into, and it looks great. I think we did a fantastic job. But the next film I do will likely be another, horror film, not a epic sci-fi. You know what I mean? So, it's cool. It's cool. I've never really thought about it. I just want to make movies. That's what I want to do. I've spent 20 years as a voice actor, and it's been great. Don't get me wrong. And I still will continue to be a voice actor. But right now in my 40s, I'm like, I want to make movies. I'm ready. I'm eager to do this. And I'm totally cool with making horror films, because that's where my passion has always been. To be able to affect an audience, to scare an audience, is great. I want to be able to have that effect on people. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. More super chat. Did more super chats come in? Hang on, let me go back and have a look. I think they did. They did, Dave. Whoops. There you are. I almost lost you guys. Okay, so would you ever go making horror directing CGI? Okay, got that one. Brandon Jackson, $5 says, Alfred once said, I believe in putting the horror in the mind of the audience and not necessarily on the screen. Alfred Hitchcock? Absolutely. Well, that's just theater of the mind, right? That's what I talk about here all the time, is theater of the mind. And, Bruce and I we were very clear on that. Let me try that again. We were very clear with each other that was something we wanted to convey in It's Me, Billy. We wanted to really implement that theater of the mind and that tension and mood and suspense. And, so that any horror movie that I go on to do, it's not that I wouldn't look, if somebody came to me and said, Dave, we want you to direct this slasher movie, and it's got boatloads of blood, guts, and gore. It's not that I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be like, oh no, I can't. I'm an elevated horror kind of guy. Okay. Of course not. You know what I mean? I think it would be actually boatloads of fun to direct a slasher movie with a lot of blood. I think that would probably be a lot of fun. But I think because I'm in my 40s now and I'm older, I look for that. And when I sit down to write something like the treatment that myself and Bruce have written, again, it's full of that kind of stuff, because that's just sort of my leaning. And I think Bruce, like I'm the horror guy. Bruce is more the sci-fi guy, but he loves horror. I think he's come to appreciate it more because of me. But definitely Bruce is, if he's going to get into horror, write a horror film, direct a horror film, watch a horror movie, he really appreciates the psychological horror and the elevated horror, whatever, right? As well. So, and because I'm in my 40s now, he is too. But I mean, because we're older now, it kind of is a nice sort of pairing that it's not like I'm still feeling like I was when I was in my teens where I wanted to just watch slasher movies or something, right? So it's a nice kind of marriage there. But that's what I always look for, really, if I'm looking to rent a horror movie. Like I said on my other show the other day, I just watched The Ritual. Oh my God. I'm late to the party, I know, but The Ritual was fantastic. I love The Ritual. I said that at the end of the movie, I was kind of jealous, but not in like an actually jealous way, but kind of in a way where I was inspired, because I was like, fuck, that's the kind of movie I want to make. I would love to make a movie like that. It's full of like that scene with them in the cabin and the lightning and the rain. And it's totally, if I was given The Ritual script and to direct that film, the movie would have turned out the exact same way. Totally. I would have made the same creative choices, is what I'm trying to say. Like every creative choice they made, I was like, yes. I love that movie. So whenever I watch a movie or I go to Netflix or Prime or whatever, and I'm trying to find a horror movie to watch, I'm usually always trying to find those kinds of movies. I'm not trying to find like a campy B movie slasher. I don't really look for those. I look for psychological mystery thrillers, horror films. And I like that, it's just, I've matured over the years and I'm into that and the theater of the mind, so what you're saying there, I mean, as I've gotten older too, I've gone back and watched a lot of Hitchcock's old films and they're fantastic. So yeah, generally speaking, let's just put it this way. If I had $500 million, I would probably make 500 psychological thriller horror movies, put $1 million each for a budget or something. Well, maybe a little more, but I totally, I would likely make, those kinds of films, because I really love being able to, I love when filmmakers do such a good job at making me feel creeped out with those kinds of movies. I want to do that too, and it was really, although it's a really minor example of it, very, very, very tiny, it was really fun to do that kind of thing with It's Me, Billy. It was really cool. It was really cool. And I'm like, yeah, this is what because, people have to remember too, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a filmmaker. I went to film school, right? I just fell into the voiceover. Not that there's anything wrong with voiceover. I love acting and performing and I'm very good at it and I've had success with it and that's great. But my first love, ever since I was a teenager, has always been making movies, to make movies. I made home movies when I was a kid and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. The Ritual. If you haven't seen The Ritual, you've got to watch The Ritual. It's fantastic. It's fantastic, Johnny Angel sends in $5, says, hey, Dave, who would you cast as Colonel Cochran in Halloween 3 Remake? Ooh. Well, Mitch Ryan just died, of course. Dr. Wynn from Halloween 6, he would have been good. Maybe Robert Englund. How do you guys feel about Robert Englund? Would you guys think Robert Englund would do well as a Colonel Cochran in a Halloween 3 remake, maybe a series? Or do you think he's too Freddy Krueger? He's a good character actor, and we're going to see him in season 4 of Netflix. And the first half of season 4 of Netflix drops at the end of May, in and around my birthday. My birthday is the 24th, so I think it drops in and around the 27th, I think. The first half of the 4th season. Maybe some Robert Englund love. I don't know. Vince, is it Vince Terrello? Tuarlo. You said this before last show. It's Terrello. Maybe I'm getting it right. Help me out, Vince. Hey, Dave, what, if any, are some of the biggest problems you see in Hollywood, the film industry, and what should they do differently? I don't know. It's a good question. If I was a studio executive, I might be able to tell you a bit better from the inside. But I'm not. I'm an actor, a voice actor, but I'm on that side of the business. So when it comes to movies, biggest problems. I don't know. So I'll answer it a couple ways. The first thing I'll say is I'll answer it as best I can from a creative sort of Hollywood standpoint, I guess, is one of the things that does worry me as a creative is quotas. So now I'm going to be very nuanced about this because there's two extremes, right? There's people that believe that Hollywood is just social justice, SJW nonsense. And then there are people that think it doesn't exist at all. Well, neither is true. It does exist, but it's not as rampant as you would think. It's kind of in the middle. One of the things that I think, so what I mean by quota is I think it's very important that we don't lose. I'm all for equality. I think that's very important. I think it's important that we give people the right opportunities, right? But I don't think we should be filling quotas anywhere, whether it's awards or stories or, what have you. But I do think it's important that we reflect the times. I think that's very important. I don't think there's any reason why we shouldn't do that. But you can also take it too far, right? And there could be this great idea, but the studio might meddle a bit, and because they're afraid of certain things looking a certain way. And then, of course, the creative vision, gets stilted and sort of chopped up a bit. And so those kind of things I worry about, I guess. It's the optics, right? It's to appear virtuous, I guess. But it's a fine line because, like I said, there are people that think that Hollywood is just this machine that just produces that. No, they're all just far left social. That's not. It's not like that. I can tell you, it's not like that. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but it doesn't exist in the cartoon fantasy, over dramatic YouTube videos that you tend to see it. It's a little more nuanced than that, but there are certain things. Yeah, there are certain, people are afraid today to speak up or to, write a character a certain way because they're afraid that it might get changed because, we have to make this person this way or that way or whatever. And that kind of bothers me because I think there are people that it's about balance. Again, it's about balance. It's not getting rid of everything. It's about, I just wish that we could create an industry that was equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome, and so you give people the proper opportunities, and you let the chips fall where they may. I think that's important, because if you don't, then you're just watering down the whole artistic sort of side of the business. So, but I'm not an expert on it. I mean, again, I'm not heavily knee deep in that side of it. So I don't want to overstep my say. These are just kind of things that I see. that I think could be problematic moving forward. I'm sure there are filmmakers, writers that have already met that sort of meddling or resistance, and maybe we should cast this kind of person or that. Like things like I'm a firm believer that if you are blind, if you are not blind, you should still be able to play a blind person in a movie. If you are not disabled, you should still be able to play a disabled person in a movie. Now, that doesn't mean that you cannot cast somebody who is disabled, a disabled actor, fine. A disabled actor who's blind, great. But I don't think there should be the vitriol and the backlash if a studio decides not to go that route, because we have to remember too that Billy Johnson, who's disabled, doesn't bring in as much money as Brad Pitt, who's disabled. Names mean things. This is a business after all. This is show business. And so, there's that kind of thing that we often see, right? Where we're like, oh, and then sometimes the studios will break and they'll cut it off. And it's like, I don't know. I think there's a balance somewhere. And so that kind of worries me. Little choices like that might hinder on the creative's vision. I think we can, we don't have to necessarily be so stark with our decisions. The other side I will say is I think more fans, and I've often said this, need to brush up on their knowledge of how the industry works. I know. Homework, right? Boring. I get it. But, and again, I don't claim to be an expert. And I do understand that having spent 20 years in the entertainment industry has helped me. And it's also helped me, be more inquisitive and naturally curious about the industry that I'm a part of, obviously. So I get that. But anybody can read up on how the business works. And I think if more people did that, they would be less angered or perplexed by some of the decisions that the studios make. Because it's show business. It's always there are variables, but it's always a business decision. It's about making money. That's what it is. And as soon as a studio doesn't feel they can make money by producing a certain thing, they stop. So learning about the business side of Hollywood and sort of how that all works, I think would help fans a lot. So that's what I have to say. But yeah, the biggest problem I think is sort of in terms of Hollywood and the movie making is kind of, we're on a path at the moment where I fear that some creative visions might be stilted and hindered for the sake of looking more virtuous and, woke, but that doesn't mean that everything is woke. That doesn't mean that if you see two gay people in a movie, oh, it's woke. It doesn't mean if it's an all black cast, oh, it's woke. That doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that at all. Far from it. You know what I mean? And this is where you got to kind of do a bit of digging and really figure out, what really is woke and what isn't. But anyway. Okay, so I got that. Let me see here. Johnny Angel sends in $5, says, "Hey Dave, I have another question for you. Do you think exploring the early years of Colonel Cochran from Halloween 3 would make good for a TV show?" Maybe. I don't know. Depends on how it's done. I think you could probably do that. I think if Halloween 3 Season of the Witch was to move to a series, I think you could do that anyway. I don't think you have to go all the way back to his younger years, and how he became a colonel. I think that you would just naturally, because it's a television series and maybe you're doing 10 episodes and each episode is an hour, you have 10 hours there to sort of tell the story rather than 90 minutes. So I think just by the process of having more time, we would get to know Colonel Cochran more and more of his past and his history and how he came to be who he was. I I don't think you need to necessarily go back and tell a specific Colonel Cochran story. I think that's unnecessary. So I'm going to say no. Run out of water here. All right. How you guys Saturday night doing? What's going on with your Saturday night? That's some music in here. It's Saturday. Did I get all the super chats? Nope. Oh, wait. Dark Light sends in $2, says, I still think no one should touch The Exorcist. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's necessary to really make more Exorcist movies. And keep in mind, folks, The Exorcist, as far as I know anyway, unless they're going to be shooting these things back to back, usually what will happen, not all the time, but usually what will happen is when a studio says, we've got the rights to make, X IP, and our plan is to make 3 of them or 4 of them, that is usually based on how well those movies do. So they will hire an actor or a director or actors to multiple picture deals. And those multiple picture deals do not guarantee the actor that we are going to make these movies. They say that if we decide to make these movies, you are contractually obligated to be in them. So I don't know what Blumhouse is going to do with The Exorcist because they have the rights. I think they want to make 3 of them. I believe they're planning to shoot later this year. The film doesn't come out till October 2023. So you're still 18 months away. No, not even, maybe, 18 months, 20 months away, almost 2 years away. You're still really almost 2 years away from the release of that movie. So, almost. I don't know if they're going to shoot back to back or not, but yes, they have 3 movies that they want to do, but they're likely to shoot 1, and then they're going to see how that does. And if it does really well, then they will make the other 2, make the other one or the other 2. If it doesn't do well, or it kind of, it's met with, and it just doesn't do that well, then they will probably not go ahead. Don't be surprised if The Exorcist ends very similar to how Halloween 18 ended, where it ends on a note where, The Exorcist sequel, I mean. Because keep in mind, too, that they're not remaking The Exorcist, although it might be a soft reboot, who knows. But they are doing a direct sequel to it. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if that film ended in a way that felt complete, but kind of open-ended, but complete, but kind of open-ended, but complete. And that kind of leaves them, they can have their cake and eat it too. Well, we can make another one because clearly we were going to, but we can also leave it too. Wouldn't surprise me if that happened. I don't know what to think about The Exorcist, this sequel. Not to beat a dead horse, but I've said it before, I'll say it again. The Exorcist, there's 50,000 Exorcist movies now. And I don't mean movies with the word exorcist in it. I just mean possession movies. There's so many of these movies now. And we're desensitized to them. The Exorcist is the granddaddy of them all. Whether you like the movie or not, okay, whatever. But it is the granddaddy of them all. It's the gold standard to some degree. But there was more going on in The Exorcist than, masturbating with crucifixes and 360-degree head turns and green slime and all that kind of stuff. That stuff's, pretty cool, certainly for 1973. But We've been there, done that. The thing that they, and I'm not saying that they haven't written a script that's like this, and I'm not saying they're not going to do this, but there is a level of elevation, a level of maturity to The Exorcist. Now, maybe you don't feel that way if you've grown up in, you were born in, I don't know, 2002. Maybe you don't feel that way because you don't have that context and that perspective. But when I first saw The Exorcist in the early 90s, there weren't too many movies like it. Okay. And because I was about, I think, 10 or 11 when I first saw it. But The Exorcist is really a mature drama as well. There's a lot of deep character development here, with Damien and the guilt that he feels with his mother. And I've talked about this before. It's like Jaws, right? Yeah, Jaws and the shark, and you're going to need a bigger boat and all that kind of dun. Yeah, sure. And it's great, sure. But the characters are what drive that film. The characters are so well written. So The Exorcist is not a slasher movie. The Exorcist is a horror film, yes, but it's a psychological drama thriller kind of movie. And I really want to see the tone return. And again, I use my own film as an example because it was one of the compliments we got. With It's Me, Billy, there were people that one of the compliments we got was it felt very much like Black Christmas. If you've watched my movie, you know that it's not a slasher movie in that sense. It's a slow burn. There's, a lot of character development. There's drama, but we focused on that eerie feeling, setting the mood, setting the tone, crafting the shots, telling the story through the lens of the camera, having the camera move where we place it. We really focused on making it feel like the slower drama, eerie film like Black Christmas. So it feels like it lives in the same universe. Well, I think that's what you have to do with Jaws if you were ever to remake it. And that's what you have to do with The Exorcist as well. It's got to feel like The Exorcist. It can't feel like, it shouldn't feel like, let's just put it this way. It better not feel like a Blumhouse demon possession movie. And I hate to say that because Blumhouse is the production company. No slight towards them. But it shouldn't feel like a teen horror movie. It shouldn't feel like a, not that teens weren't going to see The Exorcist, but there's just a level of maturity that The Exorcist has that I'm really hoping that that David Gordon Green and company deliver on this first installment. That you watch them, because this is not just any Exorcist or any demon movie. This is The Exorcist. You're making a sequel to The Exorcist. That's like making a direct sequel to The Godfather. Do you know what I mean? It's like, hang on a sec here. And I'm not saying they haven't thought about all these things. I'm sure in the writer's room they've had these exact conversations, at least I would hope. But that's the kind of thing that I'm really hoping that they are paying attention to. Yes, we can scare. We've got to scare, right? We've got to scare. We got to have the music and the scares and the thrills and the chills, of course. But let's focus on the characters and the drama that is happening with these characters and the setting and the mood and the tension and the eeriness. And we really got to focus on that because make the film have a maturity to it. That's what I'll say about that. And I know I've said that 1,000 times before, but it bears repeating. All right, super chat comes in from Andrew Stevens, my man. I was showing these. I had them in here because I was going to put them in my my cabinet, but I decided I'm going to put them out there. Yeah, Andrew, again, thanks so much. Burn Halloween 5. I can't. It's so nice. This is a nice cover and everything. It looks all nice, and I can't burn it. If I had 3 copies, I'd burn one. Just saying. It's funny. I'm just a guy. He sends in $1.99, says, how should they handle Michael's death in Halloween Ends? Well, I'm just a guy. I've said it before. I'll say it again. With care, with ease. End it on a philosophical note. What do I mean by that? I mean something that leaves the audience something to ponder, to think about. I don't want any jump scares. I don't want to know for sure that he is alive. I want it to feel like he is dead, but end the film on a question, something the audience can ponder and go, ooh, is he dead? That's what you do. I don't want to see his eyes opening. I mean, you could, some people have messaged me and said, well, why don't you just like end it where he just walks off into the darkness and that's it. And it's like, but he's still out there. You know, I would much prefer that there is an ending where he does die. I think him and Laurie should die like my sequel concept. Both of them die on fire in Judith Meyer's bedroom. That's what I think. But hey, that's me. That's me. All right, what do we got? What else we got? It's nice to see you guys talking to each other in here. Ty Lee says, I agree 100% about the Exorcist movie. Give us something substantial, not a typical Hollywood possession movie. Well, just not I mean, it's still a Hollywood film, but I know what you're saying. It's something that, I mean, if I was tapped to making The Exorcist, a sequel to The Exorcist, oh my God. I would say to Jason Blum and everybody in that room, I'd say, okay, if we're going to do this, we got to do this. I want this to potentially have I want this to have the potential to be one of the scariest movies ever made. Now, obviously, you know, whether that is true or not is not up to, you know, but there are certain things, there are certain techniques and style in the filmmaking that we can do to give us the better probability of that success, right? I would say I don't want this to feel like a teen horror movie. I want this to feel very mature, you know? That would be one of the first things I would say. And I don't know. I don't know if they would do that. No, we can't. We got to get the 15-year-olds. I want this to be a hard R, and not because boobies are shown, because it's just so suspenseful and tension. Maybe a couple of F-bombs because of the imagery, but not like, you know, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Let's get some other music in here, shall we? Prisoners, Annihilation, good endings, keep you thinking. Yes. Let me stop the music there. Yes. Is it B James, I think it is. Yes. Great examples. Prisoners was great. What I loved about Prisoners, what I loved about that ending, it's such a good movie, is when Jake Gyllenhaal thinks he hears the whistle. Then it just cuts to black. And it's like, oh, you don't know. Now, that does, I will tell you right now, that creatively, through the use of cinematic language, what is happening there is Denis Villeneuve is basically saying, it's okay, he'll be found, right? Because we see, it'd be different if Jake Gyllenhaal's character had walked off and left, and then you see Hugh Jackman blowing the whistle, right? Or you hear it. Then it's like, oh my God, but there's nobody there to hear it. So then you're left with the idea of, oh my God. But the fact that we see Jake Gyllenhaal's character kind of go like this, and then it just cuts to black. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to be able to find him necessarily, but it heavily communicates that it's going to be okay. He hears something and he's going to investigate it and he'll likely find him, right? But it does leave you with some, I don't know, right? Annihilation. I love Annihilation. Annihilation is another great film. Like when you watch Prisoners, okay, and you watch something like Annihilation, you know the feeling you get when you watch it, right? That you're watching, you know, something that's more mature, right? That's the feeling that The Exorcist has to have. It's got to have that. It can't feel like you're watching Slender Man. Do you know what I mean? Or you're watching, I don't know, even The Conjuring to a degree, although I love The Conjuring, but The Conjuring it might be a little too polished maybe. But certainly it can't feel like, you know, I don't know. You know, it should really feel like maybe Italian horror, you know, something like that. Like it just feels very different. And you're like, wow, you know, like a mature, that's how I would approach it anyway. That's how I would approach it. All right. I don't think, just going back here, I don't think I missed anything. I don't think so anyway. It's Saturday night. Hope everybody is having a good Saturday night. Darklight says, are you sure he got saved? No, we're not sure, right? We're not sure. And that's the whole point, right? That's the whole point. But the intention the intention to have Jake Gyllenhaal's character think he hears the whistle is very different than Jake Gyllenhaal's character not being there and we hearing the whistle, recognizing that nobody's there, right? Now, that doesn't mean for sure that he found him, right? That's the idea. But what it communicates is that there's a good probability that he may have, because we see him hear the whistle, right? So we know that the character is going to investigate that. So he was likely saved. He was likely saved. Let me see here. Darren pipes in with $8,000. Incredible. The Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast says, your most devastating moment in a movie or TV show. Before you answer, The Mist is out of bounds. And hurry up, it's pushing 3 a.m. here. Oh God, the most devastating moment. Oh, fuck. Darren, most devastating moment. There was something I watched recently. Most devastating moment. Darren, this is a cop-out. I'm just going to say the most devastating movie-going experience of my life was The Last Jedi. But that's not fair. That's like, well, come on. I know what you mean. The most devastating moment in a movie or TV show. It's hard to top The Mist because I was like on The Mist. What have I watched recently? There was something I watched recently where I was like, oh my God. Jesus, I don't know, man. You put me on the spot. I can't think right now. And The Last Jedi, that's not what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Like something in a movie makes you go, oh no, oh my God, fuck. Train to Busan. Yeah. No, I wasn't like, well, Quint's death. Yeah, Quint's death in Jaws. That's a good one. There's gotta be. Let me think. I'll come up with one. God damn it. I feel on the spot now. I'm on the spot. I'm not doing well under pressure. That's not good. Quint's death is a good one, though. That is a good one. Death, and I gotta think of some deaths. That would be Jesus. Chris Baber says Darren is a failed adult film director. I've seen all his adult films. Yeah, he sends them to me. They're actually incredible. Quint's death is tragic, but I can't say that because you've said that. Fuck, why am I having so much trouble? There was like 2 or 3 movies recently I've watched where I was like my mouth actually opened. I was like, Oh my God. What the fuck have I watched recently? I should have kept a catalog. God, I don't know, man. Damn it. Damn. I don't know. I'm going to have to think, Darren. I'm going to have to think. Baver, you paid to say that? And then Darren pays to say that. I'll have to send you guys, send me an invoice. Jesus, yeah. I really want to answer this because it's such a good question. I'm going to remember it as soon as I get off the show here. I'm going to remember it. What is it? Because, yeah, I would have totally gone to The Mist. And it's devastating. So it can't be like just mind-blowing. It's got to be devastating, like tragic. Oh, my God, no. I mean, maybe no, that's not right. Fuck, I don't know. Let me think. I'm going to think and I'll answer some more questions, but I'm going to think. The end of 7. Oh, fuck yeah. The end of 7. That's a good one. Fuck. Why am I not thinking of that? 7. Yeah, that's a good one. But you said it now. I can't say it. That doesn't count. You prompted me to say it. It's so lame. I'm like, okay, I'll get 7. Okay, 7. But that is tragic. What's in the box? That is tragic. That is devastating. That's a good show right there. The top 5 or 10 devastating endings. That's a really good show. That's a good show idea. Damn it. Yeah, 7. Let me just do a quick Google search here. Tragic movie endings. I don't know. Let's see here. Life is Beautiful. Titanic. It wasn't devastating. My Girl. Brokeback Mountain. Yeah, I'm not getting the one. I'm not getting. Yeah, it's not, you know, I'll just think. I'll think. Fuck. That's a good question. Because I would have said The Mist. You know me. I would have said it. 7's a good one. That's a good. The Sixth Sense. But that's not devastate. Well, I guess it depends on how you look at it, right? The Sixth Sense. You know, The Others was one of those films where I was like, but it wasn't devastating. You know, I mean, I wasn't like, oh no, really? It was just shocking. I was like, oh my God, they're dead. Holy shit. That was so well done. Fuck yeah. I can't think on the spot. I'm going to think of 50 movies. When I'm done here and I go and sit on my couch, 50 movies are going to come to me. That's what's going to happen. It's totally going to happen that way. Okay, did I get those super chats? I did. I think so anyway. I think I've got them. Death of Wolverine in Logan. I haven't seen Logan, but I probably wouldn't have found that devastating because I wouldn't have been attached necessarily. Han Solo's death in The Force Awakens. That's not the ending, really. And I kind of knew it was coming. I mean, I can't say I was devastated. I don't know. That's such a good question. Fuck, I'll have to think about it. Yeah, because there's a difference between just shocking endings. You're like, oh, the twist endings and endings that leave you like devastated. Like, oh my God. Like whether somebody dies or like in The Mist, they were so close to safety. And yeah. Rob Thidoff says, Dave, what current unsolved mystery in the past 100 years do you feel the greatest chance of ever getting? What unsolved mystery in the past 100 years? I have no idea, Rob. That's a good question, but I have no idea. Has it the best chance of being solved? I don't know. I'm kind of hoping for the Mara Murray thing. You know, that true crime thing about that girl that disappeared in New Hampshire in 2004, just completely off the face of the planet. Like, what the hell happened to her? That's a case that I followed over the years, and I would have, I'd like to see an ending. I don't think she's alive, but it would be nice if her remains were found, especially before her father dies. Her father's been, almost for 20 years now has been trying to find her. And I think he's in his 70s now. So it'd be nice if they found her before he died. But I don't know, man. What mysteries would I like, though? UFOs, Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster. Yeah, I don't know. People are talking about Amityville 2. The Prestige. I don't think The Prestige was tragic, though. Dave seeing the end of Halloween 6. Yeah, well, I've always said that the single most disappointing movie-going experience of my life was The Last Jedi. I've never in my entire life been more disappointed, devastated, if you will, leaving a movie theater than I was when I saw The Last Jedi. Still to this day. I don't know if it will ever be topped. I'm not entirely sure. Evil Monsterism says, what's the most indie non-mainstream film you've seen? The most indie non-mainstream film you've seen that I've seen? I don't know. I've seen quite a few. Indie non-mainstream film I've seen. I've been watching quite a few things on Netflix recently that are they're indie. They wouldn't be considered mainstream. What I've been doing and some are not very good, but what I've been doing on Netflix is I've been watching, I'll sit down. I'm going to do it again tonight. I sit down. It's this thing I've been doing over the last month, and I will look for a movie I've never heard of, I've never seen, in the mystery, thriller, horror category. And I will read the blurb that Netflix has. And the blurbs are like, 2 sentences. I mean, they really don't tell you much. And based on that blurb, if it piques my interest, I will watch it. Sometimes they have actors who I know. Sometimes they don't. That's how I found The Ritual. I'd never heard of The Ritual before. And I was like, oh, this sounds, and then after the film's done, I look it up and I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of well known. But I've been doing that on Netflix, and a lot of the movies that I'm watching would be considered indie films for sure. I know that just from the production companies that pop up at the beginning. Some of them have been pretty good. There's been a few I've watched that are not so good. I watched one the other day that actually had Simon Pegg in it. It was called Inheritance. And he played a villain. It wasn't good. It was an interesting concept, but it wasn't good. It had some known actors in it, but it wasn't a good movie. But that was something, I'd never heard of it. I like Simon Pegg a lot. But I just saw the blurb, thought, why not? Had no idea even Simon Pegg was in it until he showed up. So I've been doing that a lot. There's been, that's how I found the film Angel of Mine that I really liked. Angel of Mine. I don't know if it's still on Netflix. That's really good. I'm pretty sure that's an indie film. Most of the films I'm watching are indie films, for sure. They're not mainstream Hollywood big studio releases. God, I wish I could figure out. There's a couple more. Let me just go to my Netflix page here, because now I'm curious. Do remind me later. Okay, where's the? My list? No, I don't have a list. Oh. I don't have a list. I don't know how to tell. How do I tell what I've watched? Doesn't it usually have a thing where it says you or watch again? It's not popping up. Okay, well, whatever. Where's the horror films here? Horror. Let me just see here. Yeah, this is taking too long. I'm live and this is taking too long. This is boring. I don't want to turn this into a we're just watching Dave watching Netflix. Anyways, yeah, I've been doing that a lot. But I don't know. It's I think my problem when I get asked a question like that is, and I say this with all due respect to you, I think I sometimes take the question far too seriously, which is why it takes me so long to answer. Because I'm really trying to think about what is the most recent best indie film I've seen, and I have no idea. I don't know. There's been a few, but I'm not sure. So I'm not entirely sure. I know that's not a good answer, man. I know that's not a good answer. What's going on here with Helen Park? Is there? Oh, am I missing something with Helen Park? What's happening? I'm not sure. Antlers was great. I still haven't seen Antlers. I got to see Antlers. I still have to see that. That's apparently like loaded with mood and atmosphere. So I definitely want to see that. But yeah, indie films, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot out there. Dark Light says, I swear to God, the producer's cut of Halloween 6 played on AMC around 2007. I know because it showed the scene Halloween 5 where the costume man, okay, well, maybe it did. I don't know. It's a good question. It might have. I'm not entirely sure. All right. Almost 2 hours. We'll take this thing another 13 minutes, make this 2 hours, and then we'll call it a Saturday night. Saturday night. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, baby. Chester Franklin Jr. says, Dave, how you doing, buddy? I appreciate you reading my messages. An apology. Thanks again. I love the channel. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Chester. Appreciate that. Glad you're here. Glad to see you here. Possessor is a superb indie film. I've not heard of it. Is it on Netflix? Because I will check it out. What else is, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. 1 second here. Let me get my... All right. So let's go to... Maybe you guys will pick the movie I'll watch tonight. Let's go to scary movies. Okay, there's scary movies there. It starts with well, it doesn't start with the thing, but hang on. We'll just do that. That's fine. Scary movie. No, let's go to slow burn. They had a category called slow burn. It was hilarious. There it is. Slow burn. Yeah, there it is. Inheritance right there. That's the movie I watched that I thought was garbage. All right. The Fall from Grace, Room, The Guilty, Awake, Shutter Island, Taxi Driver, Marriage, You Got Me. See, and I'll do something like this. So, for example, maybe a lot of these I have heard of, but maybe there's something that might intrigue me, right? Like maybe I'll be like, let's see here. Let me see here. The Woods. Okay, so I click on The Woods, right? I don't want to watch the movie. Whoops. I don't want to watch it. I want to click on it, find out what it's about. This is not going as planned. It's not going the way I wanted it to go. It's because it's different on the desktop than it is on your television. Anyway. Oh, I just found something with interesting. Possessor, you guys said Possessor? Is it on Netflix? Let me look this up. 2020. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I haven't seen this yet. I want to see it. Darren, I think you did tell me about this film. Is it on Netflix? If it's not, is it on Prime? Is it on Prime? It's directed by Cronenberg's son? Okay. Okay. All right. Is that what you said? I'll watch Possessor tonight. Maybe that's what I'll do. Is it on Netflix or Prime? If it's on Hulu, I don't get Hulu. I'm Canadian. Where is it? Chat room, let me know where it is. And I will go and rent it tonight. I don't know if it's on Netflix. Well, let me see if it's on YouTube. Let me see if it's available to rent on YouTube. It is available. Oh, no, it's not. It's available to buy on YouTube. And yeah, I'm not going to buy it. I do not buy unless I try. So cool. Okay. Well, it should be on Prime. All right, let me go to my Prime. Let me go to my Prime. Prime. Welcome to Prime Video, Mr. Dave McRae. All right, Possessor. Oh, I don't know if it is, folks. Hang on. Yes, it is. And it's not available to rent, though. It's not available to rent. It's only available to buy. So I don't buy films digitally. It would just be a waste for me to do that because I don't have a digital library of films. So I don't really want to spend $15 to buy it. And then I just have it sitting there. You know what I mean? So I'll have to wait. I will have to wait to see it. Unless, yeah, like I have Prime, I have Netflix, I have Disney Plus, wouldn't be on there. But yeah, Jennifer Jason Leigh, she's always in that stuff. Christopher Abbott. Possessor follows an agent who works for a secretive organization that uses brain implant technology to inhabit other people's bodies, ultimately driving them to commit assassinations for high-paying clients. I'm in, and I can't watch it tonight. Fuck. Dave, I just sent you a super chat. You couldn't answer. Buy the bloody film. That's You're right. Maybe I'll do that then. That's true. I couldn't figure it out. I don't know. All right, I'll buy the film. I'll buy it and I'll watch it. Yeah, devastating. I couldn't answer. I don't know. It's going to come to me. It's going to come to me afterwards. It will. It totally will. But Possessor sounds really good. Really good. So maybe that'll be the movie tonight. Maybe I will do that. All right. I got all the super chats. If I'm not mistaken, I believe I did. Let me scroll down here. Just want to make, I have a lot of tabs open here. All right, guys, there you are. Okay. And Spidey Fan says Disney Plus does have horror in Canada. It does, but Possessor wouldn't, well, it depends on what your idea of horror is. Possessor, I don't think is Disney, so it wouldn't go to Disney Plus. I don't know what Possessor is. It's an indie film, so I don't know who distributed it. All this Possessor talk. That's good. That's good. It's good. Can't wait to watch it. Yeah, on Prime, you can rent it for $4. In the States, maybe, but not here. In Canada, it's not available to rent. It's only available to buy. Possessor was really good. Fast Forward sends in a super chat, says, "Hey Dave, have you ever got a chance to watch Dark Knight of the Scarecrow yet? What did you think if so?" I have not. I have not watched Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. I just haven't gotten around to it, but I will put that on the list as well. Dark Knight, what year was that again? I was going to say 91. It's 81. Wow. Okay. It's older than I thought. That's funny. I love the poster. Looks like good old 80s slasher cheese. 80s slasher cheese. House of the Devil. Yeah, I haven't seen... Wait a sec. Are you talking about... What House of the Devil are you talking about? Are you talking about... Wasn't there... Oh, House of the Devil. Yes. Yeah, it's Ty West. Yeah. No, I have not seen House of the Devil. Yeah. Wait. I thought there were two films. No, not 1896. Not that. Not that. I thought... Am I thinking of something else then? Maybe I'm thinking of something else. House of the Devil? I will put that on the list. I will put it on the list, the Ty West version. Yeah. I thought there was some... There must be another movie I'm thinking of with House and Devil in it that... It's not this one, though. It's not this one. There's another one that I'm thinking of. I don't know what that is, but yeah, there's definitely another one. And that's not it. That is not it. All right. Well, listen, that is going to do it for me. Exciting way to end the show today. I appreciate you guys tuning in. To my moderators, of course, Frank Riker, Tab of the Short, Darren Sands, Chris Baber. Thank you for tuning in and doing what you do here on the channel. Of course, you guys are awesome. Thank you to the super chat questions that came in. I got Possessor on the list. I got Night of the Scarecrow, Dark Night of the Scarecrow on the list. I got House of the Devil on the list. Some good stuff. Movies I've not seen. I still have to see the remake of Suspiria. I like the old film. I like the old film a lot, but I haven't seen the remake of Suspiria yet. So I would like to check that out as well. So maybe I know what I'm doing over the next couple of days. I got some good stuff to check out. I did, right? Yeah, I got them all. All right. Well, listen, folks, have yourself a great rest of your weekend. Stay safe out there. And I will be back Monday night at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another What If episode with Tony Michael on Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. It was fun hanging out on this Saturday night, just shooting the shit, talking movies, answering questions. It's fun. It's fun to jump on here and do this kind of thing, and I enjoy doing it. So thank you for tuning in, whether you're watching live or you're watching after the fact. I really appreciate it. And I will talk to you guys and gals soon. Alrighty, have a great weekend, everybody. Have a great weekend. Now I'm ready. Cheers.